Rock said something, man, that was so powerful. He said, women, children, and animals are loved unconditionally, but men are loved under the condition that they provide something. So psychologically, as men, everything is about performance. And so when I started to really dig deep, I said, I want to get brothers to remove the cape from trying to be Superman and learn how to function in your Clark Kent. And because that's really who Superman was, the reality of it. And so it's just functioning who you are, because that performance thing is exhausting. It's hard.
Hey, everybody. Okay. We had to have some technical issues going on here. Give everybody time enough to come on and to join us. Let's see here. Yeah, we are live. We are live. We are live. Just want to give everybody a chance enough to, because we had to close out what happened. We had to close out that particular StreamYard, and because that would, well, we had some technical issues, but that's over with now, and here we are. Because no matter what, and if you would, those of you who are watching on Facebook, those who are watching on YouTube, again, welcome to A Father's Note. Lionel Nelson here as your host, where we promote fathers through building men. And just say, spread the word, spread the news, do those things that you know to do to let others know that we are on. We are definitely on. We are going to have this show. We're going to have this conversation tonight. And I definitely want you and you to be a part of it. Okay. Let me see if I can let everybody know. Hey, share this broadcast. How about tag a friend, tag a brother, tag a husband, a brother, tag an uncle, a son. Let's talk about the broken man. And of course, we titled this, I'm Not Broken, Just Misunderstood. But we want to give people time enough to check in with us, okay? Because we want to have this conversation. Reach out. Let different ones know that we're here to have this conversation. You may have a loved one that needs to hear this, needs to be a part of this conversation. I want to thank all of you for letting us know that we're having technical, no volume here. But I definitely want you to let the brothers know we're going to have this conversation tonight. I'm here because it seems like this seems to have been a very hot topic, especially with a lot of men that I know, conversations that I've had over the past 2 weeks about our men whom seems to be broken. Now, this is an open conversation tonight. And I definitely want you all to know that you can call in. So if you want to call in and brothers and have this conversation with us tonight, you can call this number 954-559-9300. And we'll definitely bring you on. You will not be identified as to who you are. You can talk anonymous. Your name does not have to be mentioned, but if you have a distinguished voice that everybody knows, then I can't help you with that. But if you're on, let us know that you're watching. let us know that you're watching. If you have any comments or any questions that you would like to have answered, maybe we might be able to engage in it. And as I stated, this is a special live tonight. We just gonna have conversation. And what I just say, barbershop conversation, that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna talk barbershop conversation tonight. But thinking about this, I know I, for one, can identify or would admit, okay, that I was a broken man. And so let's start there. Is it possible that we have a lot of men who think that they're perfect? Y'all talk back to me in the chats. Let me know in the chats if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying. And especially we have older men, whether or not they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they have been doing things for so long one way. But here it is, when they get in a relationship, they feel that, I'm going to say it this way, they stuck. They feel that they don't have to change. They feel that they are perfectly fine exactly the way that they are. Okay, so the question is, by Mr. Green, what do we call broken? The one thing that comes to mind, and that's a good question, because so many of us can possibly provide a different definition to the word broken, or what we may consider to be a broken man. And I believe that is basically on your own personal experience with other men, let's just say with men, or let's say with relationship. Now, this is going to be a very broad conversation for one, but let's see if we can identify what is a broken man. And those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can let us know. Put it in the comments what you think or what you believe is a broken man, and let's talk about it. Let's absolutely have this conversation. What is a broken man? Okay, those of you who are watching on Facebook, put it in the comment. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. I think that a broken man is a man who don't understand his manhood. I'm going to say that. I'm going to start there. A man who doesn't understand his manhood. I was thinking about this today, and I might be going down a bunny trail here, but I'm going to tell you what, one thing that come to mind is this, and I'm going to keep it real. Okay. And I'm not going to apologize for anything that I say here tonight. It's because it's what I'm convicted. It's my convictions. So if you want to penalize me for my convictions, then you go right ahead, but you can't do that. The only thing you can do is possibly stop watching the show or unfriend me on Facebook or whatever. I'm going to get to Mr. Hall said maybe broken from a past relationship, or not broken, but unlearned lessons. That's true. But I'm gonna say that one thing that came to mind. I'm gonna tell you, I was thinking about this today with the understanding that this question would come up, and I did write some. Where's my little notes here? Okay. What about a man who doesn't understand his authority? Is he broken? Could that be a broken man? What about a man who struggles submitting to authority? Oh. What about a man who is full of rejection? A man who is emotionally, mentally, because of, and Mr. Hall brought it up, past relationships. Pat, let me tell you something. When the Commodores wrote the song Brick House, and And in the line it says, a woman who can show enough bring a strong man to his knees. I believe the writer knew exactly what he was talking about. Now, when that song came out, we might have, I know, that was back in the 70s. So, I was a young man, real young man. When that song came out, I guess in my teens, and we, brick house, brick house. No, I'm like, wait, well, now that I'm older, and I think about that line itself, that's a true statement. That woman, a woman, and I'm going to be who doesn't understand her purpose, a woman who doesn't understand her role, a woman that is conniving, a woman who is evil-hearted, a woman who think that they are God's gift to the world. Man, let me tell you something. A woman that is scorned, she would know how to get to the heart of a man and tear that man down. Oh, yeah. And guess what? She ain't got to be all that. But it's your love for this woman, or whatever reasons that within yourself you feel that I need to, I love this woman. I gotta be with her. She even if you married her and you're doing everything, you're sacrificing, you're doing everything you can to show that you love her. You're doing everything you can to prove that, hey, listen, I'm the man for you. I mean, you buying her cars, you dressing her, you buying a home, you're doing a whole 9 yards. But as one of the words that my dear brother Kerry like to use, it's not being reciprocated back to you. Man, you'll begin to wonder, scratching your head, man, dang, what did I connect with? Then you find yourself going from having something to becoming nothing. We're watching from the television with our son and a few guys are over. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Y'all talk to me in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are. Whether or not you agree with what I'm saying, disagree. Let me know in the comments. Help me out with this conversation. And if you want to call in and want to chime in, here's the number, 954-559-9300. See, when my wife on here, y'all be all up in the chats and everything. Now my wife do I need to bring my wife back on this show? Well, she's taking care of some other things tonight. Mrs. Green says, could there be no guidance? Sometimes it could be based on looks, not her mindset. That is true. Let me talk about myself. Let me talk about myself. What made me a broken man? Well, first of all, I'm going to go back when I was a teen. And I believe that's where it started. And going back to that moment, hey, y'all can call in if you want to call in and just have a conversation. Come on, get some brothers on here. Get some brothers. I know a lot of brothers be watching, but they'd be afraid to comment. They don't want to comment or whatever. You know what? Then get your lady to comment. Hey, but talk to me here. Talk to us here. We're going back to I got a caller. All right, let's see here. All right, caller. Hey, what do you have to say here, bro?
All right, good day. All right, Mr. Nelson, I tell you, what a powerful show. You're doing a great work for us men, and thank you for doing the special edition tonight on the Father's Note.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Due to what you're sharing, it's a whole broad of insight that I think that men struggle with. First of all, we've been taught to be the footage that you shared earlier, to perform. That's one of the big things that I've learned, that to be a man, you got to go after the things of the world to prove that you are considered to be a man. It could be cars. It could be finances. It could be with a certain group of people. That woman, that lady, woman or lady, if they don't understand the placement, sometimes they run after fame. So because of love, like that song says, Al Green says, love will make you do wrong. Well, that is so true. Sometimes you can love someone and you can be guided in the wrong direction and say, well, hey, listen, I'll deal with that later, as long as I want to make her happy. And if I make her happy, then I feel like I've accomplished. But then when it backfires, then you have no one you can talk to. But I believe that what makes a man become silent, because due to the fact that he has built his ego, his strength of showing that he got it in numbers, material things, status. But when it doesn't go the way that he planned it, that wife may not receive, or that significant one, or however you want to call it, just don't have the level of respect. Respect. What that does, that make a man become what you call vulnerability. So no man don't want to show their weaknesses that, hey, I just got beat up. I realize I'm in debt now. I realize that I have lost my own identity because I wanted to be able to love her. But sometimes, like you said, the song says, love will make you do wrong, or you want to do right. And that wrong can be, hey, don't go in there and try because you saw a $20,000 vehicle that just got on TV and you try to go and get it the next day at the car dealership and you know you can't afford it. Well, this is what happens to a lot of men. Now, I'm not downing everyone that this happens to everybody. We're talking about the broken man. I believe the broken man comes with a heartbroken, disappointment, rejection. That's my thoughts on it. Why I can say that? Because I was one of them, and I am one of them from the past. But thank God for healing, because sometimes we can get into things because we learn imagery. Imagery is that you're trying to be something that you're really not. And you know you want to be it, but sometimes you're just not capable in ability. Your ability is not up to that status to be able to be that. Yeah, you're a good guy. I'm a good guy. Many of us men are good men. But sometimes it's just that the guidance, the direction doesn't put us in the right place at times. So I can go more and more with that, but that's my thoughts right there.
Hey, caller, you made some great comments, man. Appreciate you sharing them. Appreciate you sharing those comments. You said a lot of good stuff. You said some real truthful stuff. You know, when in actuality, you talk about we're talking about being ready to perform. Now, he mentioned about performing, why men become silent, a lack of respect for men. A man becomes vulnerable. And as I would keep talking, is that even when men gets into these relationships, you know, we don't want to show our baggage. We, as I use the word, I've come with this word, this analogy, self-portrait. We paint a false self-portrait of who we really are. And I see your comments. I see your comments. I want to, especially I see one is asking, it's all correct, but what do you do? I want to address that. But I want to say this though. Yeah, he's right. Number one, brothers, and I was sharing this with someone last night. If you are vulnerable, and I think where we fall, because that machoism, we want to show that machoism. We don't want to show that we're broken. We don't want to reveal that we're broken. We don't want to reveal that, you know, I'm hurting on the inside. Because no matter what conditions and situation that we in, then what happens is that we begin to falsify who we really are. We put this mask up. And I believe it's because of past experiences and relationships, even starting in the home, even before you get in a relationship, when certain things occur. And, you know, I was going back to this, and please just bear with me, audience. And I appreciate your comments and everything. But I'm going back to this, and I was reflecting back. Why was I broken And to be honest, I was broken. I was a broken man for 30 years. And it took me about half those years, I'm going to say at least 7 to 8 years, to become unbroken. Because I had to first of all, I had to acknowledge I got an issue. And then my thing is that it ain't all because of one thing. Brothers out there, first of all, if you are, and I want you to be honest with yourself, man, I got issues. And I was talking with a brother today, and I asked the question when they were when you was going through the things that you was going through, did you have anybody? Who did you talk to? Who did you have to communicate with? And the answer was nobody. And there are a lot of you men out there today, you're going through stuff, and especially dealing with relationships. Because one thing about the relationship that you connect yourself with will reveal the true identity of the man with whom you are. It will reveal whether or not you really got it together, or either you got some baggage, some luggage that you need to unpack. And I'm keeping this thing real. Now, what made me an unbroken man was rejection. Since I was 14 years old. 14 years old, I experienced rejection. Now, I love my father and I appreciate him. But at the time, that period in my life, I felt that when I needed him more, and listen, I'm not throwing no scandal or anything. No, because my father was a good man at the end of the day. And I appreciate him because, again, I have to accredit the man that I am to him. But it was because I wanted his love. And at the time, I failed to realize he had his own demons he had to deal with. He had his own battles in which that he had to work out. He had to plow through, let alone realizing that here it is, I'm a son that wants his father, but he's dealing with some other things. And I failed to realize that. But I can't fault him for the rejection that I took, because guess what? He never left us. He never abandoned us. But it's what I had experienced. So for me, that was the beginning place of my brokenness. Now here it is. I was looking for love from my father, but I connected with women to love me, or to replace the love for me that I wasn't getting from my father. So when I got in my first marriage, I was broken then at 21 years old. What does a 21-year-old in this day and time know anything about being in a relationship and getting married? Man, I was still wet behind the ears and everything else that goes along with that. But I was hurt. I'm going to show you how bad it was. And then we're going to get to a lot of these questions here. Let me put this comment up. My husband says, your voice is too heavy for some of the men to hear. You have too much authority and they are used to hearing their mother's voice. It's scary when a real man speaks. This means they have to become something they know nothing about. Wow. 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 Let me tell you about this here, what happened. See, this is where it starts. It started when I was 14 years old, when I started feeling or getting that spirit of rejection came upon me. So I just felt my father wasn't there. I felt he didn't love me. And all I ever wanted to hear him say was, I love you, son. But it was the way that I received it. It was the way that I took it. So here it is. I'm getting married. I'm going to show you how bad it was. My parents, especially my father, did not find out that I was getting married until the day I got married. That's how divided I was. Now I'm gonna tell you something, young man. Those of you who want relationship, those of you who want relationships, want to get married. I'm talking to the brothers now. I'm talking to the men. The worst thing that you can do is to go in a relationship without any male guidance, without having a man who has already done it, a man who is in it. And you want to get a relationship because you want to get married because you feel that's the right thing to do. And then for the Christian folks, you get married because you want to have sex legally. So you get married, but you're doing it without any male guidance. You're dumb. You don't have any sense. You don't have a clue. Guess what? I knew nothing because nobody talked to me about being a man. As far as there's a difference now, or shall I say, first of all, being a man. Number two, being a husband. Number three, being a father. Those are three roles. And if those are three roles in which that you want to fulfill, guess what? You got to have your act together, brother. You can't jump over 1 and 2. And then here it is, you want to go straight to 3, which is being a father, because you should be married first before you become a father. But, that's another story. That's another story. But we ain't going to talk about that. And you know what? I really want to talk about us Christian folks. Those of us who are professing Christ, I'm talking about from the pulpit to the back door. We need, and especially men, we got a lot of great men. But I'm telling you though, listen, the worst thing you could do is, I don't want to jump off subject. So let me bring myself back about being married. So that's just how much I despised my father, or I despised his rejection that I took at the time, that I didn't even tell him that I was getting married. And then here it is, I'm a young man, where behind is, don't have a clue about relationship, don't have a clue about, didn't bother to talk to anybody about what it's like to get married or what it's like having a wife. Didn't even bother to open, y'all, I'm just want to do this thing, man, because I love her. Let me tell you something. Love ain't all it's going to take. I love my wife too. But it took me some understanding. It took me some submissive. I had to submit to her. Yes, brothers. Yes, brothers. And it's script, it's Bible, because the word of God said that we ought to submit to one another. But it took that for me. I'm not ignoring your comments and everything. I appreciate it. I appreciate your comments. I'm going to get back, but let me finish my point. My whole thing, what's led to my brokenness was the fact that I went into a relationship with rejection, not knowing that I was dealing with rejection. So then, and then also, you see, this is a wide subject. I married a lady thinking that she was going to be just like my mother, the woman whom my father married. And she was the total opposite. So when she didn't do as I felt my mother did, I got angry. I got mad about it. And I wasn't nice about it. So I already had issues built up in me. And then all I did was just, until I got to the root of the issue, that I needed some healing, I needed some deliverance in these areas. I just went from relationship, let me say it this way, from marriage to marriage to marriage to marriage and to marriage, which I'm done. See, I'm not ashamed to say that, because we got a lot of preachers in the pulpit. They don't want to tell you about their background because they want to resemble, and I'm talking about our men. They want to go into pretense that their life is perfect just because they know God. Can I help you all out? I came to Christ at 24 years old. Yes, I was professing Christ, still going from marriage to marriage to marriage to marriage, not dealing with the issue. But what we do, it's the woman you gave me, God. It's her fault that I'm broken. Okay, I think I done said enough. All right, let me, y'all drop us a lot. Let me go back here. Let me go back to some of the comments. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all for your comments. Okay, I want to go to this here. Okay, it's all correct, but what do you do? I know a guy now who's struggling, and he doesn't know what to do. He says I believe that should be love, loves the woman, and think he has heard from God. I guess whether or not God had told him that that was his wife, but she's treating him like a kid. You really want me to answer that? I think I will. I think I will answer that. Why you letting her treat you like that? Why are you letting her? See, if a woman, I know I got women on here watching, and you might watch this later on, that's fine. But I'm talking to my brothers here. If a woman is leading you around like a puppy on a string, then you are a man who don't really understand your place. Now, if y'all disagree, give me some feedback. It ain't listen, I carry my manhood very well. And I know some folks, they look at my wife and I, and they want to look at my wife. Man, how you deal with him? How you know why? Because she understands me. She loves me for who she is, and she does not try to control me. We got another caller. Let's take this call here. We got another caller here. Go ahead, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
I am a female, and I am a woman, and I stand firm in who I am. But I will say this, is that being on both sides, because my brain thinks on both sides, is kind of tricky, but it's okay. But what I have learned and understood is that sometimes we as women, when we don't understand where a man has came from or what he has dealt with, because we want to talk over his issues. We can't talk over his issues. We have to take the time to understand, okay, what has happened in your past that makes you think like that makes you feel like that. And then we have to be, as a woman, to be able to understand and listen to hear him, not listen to speak. Or not listen to take it as. And I had to learn this over the years, because I was one that, you know what, hey, you said it, but I don't want to hear what you got to say, because I'm done with that. I said what I had to say, and I'm done with this conversation. There is no more talking. But now I've learned over the years, it's like, look, okay, be quiet for a second. Hear what he has to say, because what he has to say, he's talking from a place where he's hurt, and he needs you to hear, not to bash him. I know I'm a woman and I may get beat up by later, but I'm okay with that. I tell you what my address is, because I'm firm in what I'm standing. What I'm saying is that sometimes we as women, we have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, there's something that he wasn't taught when he was a child. There's something that he had learned when he was a child. Oh, wait a minute, just because he's broken, we cannot feel that he's not a man still. We have to be able to love him into his manhood, love him in that place where he is broken at. Love him until he can't understand, okay, she's not hurting me, she just want to help me.
I got to give you that.
We have to be able to love him in that space. Because, hey, sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, why are you acting like that? Wait a minute, okay, I know what that is. So let me speak to that spot right there. Let me talk to that spot right there. We as women, we can't always think that they're trying to hurt us. No, they're not trying to hurt us. Some of them are. But when you find yourself in a space with somebody that's not trying to hurt you, and all they need you to do is just listen to them and hear what they're saying, that's all we have to do as women. Because, yeah, men are broken. Men hurt. And all they need is somebody to listen to them, somebody to hear them out. Because listen, I was talking to a gentleman one time, and there was a point in his life where something had taken place. But I'm so keen to a man, and what we don't want to talk about is that men are domestically abused as well. Men get abused as well, and we don't want to talk about that, or they won't come out because we as women, we think that they can't be abused. So I had to call something to his attention because I called him, and he didn't answer when I called him, and all of a sudden when he called back, he was like, "Well, I was in the restaurant doing this. I was doing this." I was like, "Hey! I'm not your woman. I'm just your friend. You don't have to." But I recognized, and I told him, I said, "You know what? That was a spot where that woman abused you at. So now what you do is you try to make sure you let a person that's talking to you know, this is why I did that. This is why I didn't answer your call. No, I just was calling to check on you to see how you're doing." So I recognized it, so I called it out.
Wow.
And I brought it to his attention. Like, no, you don't have to do that with me because I'm just your friend.
Wow.
So we as women, we have to take a step back and see, wait a minute, that's a spot where he needs some help in. So, but when we're helping, we can't all be dominant as women can be. We have to help them in a soft space. My God, I said that. Help that man in a soft space. Bye.
Thank you. That was a great call. Great call. That's a great call. Let me speak to that. Y'all got a lot of great comments here. I gotta move fast. Okay. Let me tell you why. When she talk about love him to a safe place. So I think I shared it on the platform one time before. And I'm going to tell you what makes my wife special to me. And this was before we even got married. And we had started talking. And I'm trying to tell the story in the fastest way as I possibly can without leaving any good juicy stuff out. But when she talked about love the man through his brokenness, that's what my wife did for me. That's why she's so special. And when I went to her, she was like a gentleman I talked to today. I had nobody to go to. I had no one to go to. And so, but I went to her and I just laid my heart out to her. And she hugged me. And when she hugged me, it might sound crazy, you all, but I'm telling you, this is how I saw it. When she hugged me, it was like her heart itself grew arms and hands and reached through her flesh and through my flesh and grabbed my heart and hugged my heart and loved on the pain that I was feeling in my heart. And when we let go, I was like, wow, I never felt that love like that before. I never felt it. And that's even in my broken state, she loved me where I was at. And she, even just recently, just said the reason that, and I asked her, well, why? Why did you choose to marry me? And she said, because of two things. You had a vision and you love God. Yeah. So to go along to coincide with what the last caller said, ladies, sometimes all a man, see, you so busy looking at or thinking, looking at what he has or thinking what he should do because of what you done saw on social media or what you done saw, what your lady friends you hang out with tell you, oh, I wouldn't, man. Why you with him? Child, he don't even have a good car. Look at old raggedy car he drive. So you think he broken. Even if he is, guess what? Hey, you can fix it. See, maybe you women want instant women, instant perfect men. Maybe that's what you want. Well, I tell you what, if you show me a perfect man, I show you a lie. Because there are no perfect men. All of us got issues. All of us have had, man, I wish that I can remember. Babe, hey, I know my wife watching. Please put that quote in the chat that you did last week on our last show. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Let me go to here. Let me pull this one up. Respectfully, that's surface level. It's deeper than that. If it was that easy, we wouldn't have so many men broken. I don't think that I didn't receive that it was surface. The last caller said it absolutely right. Because we do have, but listen, okay, let me tell you something. Okay, so, okay, she did respond. Let me see here. Okay, respectfully, was not talking about surface deeper, but something can't be said. There are some men on here that understood. That's true. I believe it. I understand because I was there. Listen, you can't talk to this here. You cannot talk to this here unless you done lived it. You cannot speak to this here unless you know what that pain feels like as a man, especially when a woman is dumping on you. You don't know what that feels like. See, y'all think is, okay, y'all dumping on them, but then yesterday y'all telling them, man, you need to man up. You need to man up. You're dumping on them, but why you don't man up? Why you don't do this here? Why you don't do that? You constantly focusing, let me tell you, on his negative. One thing my wife and I don't do, we do not focus on our shortcomings in our relationship. Nah. Hey, because every now and then, both of us need pruning here and there. You know, we need a little pruning. And that's the worst thing you could do is think that you could be in a relationship. Okay, it's coming to my mind. Let me say this here. You can't, okay, let me correct something here because it's dropping in my spirit. You can't make him. You cannot build him up. Now I'm saying this, I'm going to have some clarity. And I'm going to clarify it this way, because if that man don't want to be fixed, you can do whatever you want to do. He ain't going to change. He will remain broken in his folly. He will. Let me get some more comments here. We as men must understand that Superman is not real. And for the woman, Superman was not in love with Lois. But Kent, who was an average man who wore sometimes broken glasses, but got rejected. Come on, bro, Mr. Hall. Come on. He said Kent loved Lois in his weak state and protected her from his Superman form. Woo, this brother talking. Man, you got to call in, man. Call in, man. Call in. Let's talk a little bit. Let me get some of these other comments here. Let's see here. Well, then she needs better friends and know what and who to talk to. Trust me. That's right. Listen, if you are, okay, so let me check this out. Let me ask this question. How many young ladies out there that is interested in a man and you got these affection and this love for him, and y'all engaging with one another. Now you're talking marriage. How many of you ladies out there has ever gone to a senior woman, a mother, whether in the church, someone who has walked the walk and talked the talk as a wife, and went to her and asked her, I'm talking about straight up sit down 101, you just open it up and just, hey, listen, and got some wifely advice before you said I do. Let me know, put it in the comments or whatever you feel. I want to know. Who did you talk to? Ladies, who mentored you as a wife or before being a wife, how to become a wife or how to be a wife? Because see, one thing about it for sure, let me help you out, brothers. Every woman out there is not wife material. No, they're not. Every woman out there is not wife material. They want to be wife material, but they not wife material because guess what? They never went to the school of wife, being a wife. They think they know it all. Listen, you as a woman yourself may be interested in a man who you want to one day call your husband, but you've been getting all your lessons from your dysfunctional mother. You've been watching what your mother do and how she treat her husband. So you want to get married because you want to have the sex for legally, and then you don't want to be alone. You want somebody to pay your bills. You want somebody to take care of you. You want somebody to protect you. You want somebody to provide for you. But yes, you're not doing those things. You're not treating that man as the king that he is so that he can do those things that he may not can't do all 5, but if he can do 4, but you got a problem with the 5. Come on. How many of you, have went and got counseling just for yourself before you said, I do to that man? How many of you have let that man know before you married him, listen, I can't have a baby. Listen, I done been with hundreds of men. Listen, I was a prostitute before I came to Christ or before I got myself to go. I done slept with hundreds of men. How many have been very candid with that? Because guess what? You marrying this man, you done brought all those spirits into your relationship, and then you wonder why y'all can't get along. You wonder why you got dysfunctional issues. Come on, let's keep it real. Is it really the man that's broken? Because I could tell you right now, we got some broken women too. We got another caller here. Hello, caller. What do you have to say?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm just enjoying the show, man. I'm just really enjoying the show and everything that you're talking about. It was just funny because my wife always called me her Superman. And what people fail to realize, when I met my wife, I was at a broken stage as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what she did that most women does not do, because I'm her Superman, she taught me how to recognize what my kryptonite was. And when she did that, what made me come from being a broken man and a weak man to a strong man today, living a Superman life as she truly wished for me to be from the beginning when we first were dating. But I had to be as Superman, humble myself down and understand where my kryptonite was to be a better man than I am today. And it took my wife to show me the things, but it had to take me also to recognize who my wife was. She wasn't a hindrance, but she was a helpmate to push me to that level where I'm at today.
Bro, but listen, you had to see that for yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
You had to be willing to submit to what she was saying to you, right?
Yes, sir. And I think that's where a lot of people get it mixed up at, because the Bible says for us to submit to one another.
That's right. See, I tried that macho. No, you do what I say, blah, blah. Bro, that ain't got me nowhere, man. That got me to the divorce court.
Anytime you got to keep saying that you're a man, you need to go check yourself.
Woo! Oh,
because a man does not have to speak. He just stands there. So not once in my marriage I had to say that I'm a man. No, I do what men's supposed to do. And she will recognize that. You let your life recognize for everybody else to see who you are. You don't have to broadcast who you are.
Wow.
You just live the life.
Got to walk with confidence. Man, great call, caller. Appreciate your time, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all
sir.
Right, now. Yes, sir.
Wow. That anybody else? Hey, listen, ladies, you could call in too. It's okay. We had one lady caller. Come on, call in. 954-559-9300. Come on, you want to get in this while getting this good? Come on, let me go back to some of these other comments here. Okay. Okay. That's why the Bible says he that finds a wife. That's right. You got to be wife material, ladies. You got to be wife material. If you know that man like to eat, but cooking is not your passion, you better go to mama or grandmama or auntie and learn how to cook some good grits or something now. Because that man going to want to eat when he come home at the end of the day. And I ain't talking about no fast food or no Roman noodles or anything like that. Learn how to cook a good meal. Even if it's just one good meal, at least he'll think you know how to cook. Let me see. Oh, listen, we got a comment here. My father always said, when you get married, you're in lust. But years of married makes you fall in love. 37 years for me. All right, that's great. That's a good comment. Let me see. What else we got here? Oh, okay. All right. Women ain't perfect either. We all striving for perfection. But y'all, women show act like it. A woman that downgrade a man, she think, I'm telling you, man, she act like her poop don't stink. But it stink too now. Come on now. You gotta be real about this thing. You gotta be real about this thing. Let me see what else we got. I want to make sure I don't overlook anybody. Make sure, because I was, yeah. Okay, so let me say this, because I still didn't answer the question. What do you do? I was talking with a brother. I was talking with a brother that was going through, I'm talking about what he was going through with his wife. And some of the stuff that he was sharing with me, I'm like, oh my God. But I was able to relate to it because I myself had been there. And I kept telling him, bro, I can help you. I can help you. But he was like, oh, but Mr. Nelson, you don't understand. You don't understand. I said, bro, you'd be surprised at what all the experiences that I've had in my life. I know that pain that you're feeling. I know what it's like, but I can help you. So this is what I would do. If you have a woman, let's be realistic, a wife. Let's be realistic. Let's talk about my wife. Or sometimes, you know what? I'm going to say this here. Sometimes it's already in the relationship before you even say I do. But if you, and I don't want to be kind of bouncing around because I want to really stick with my topics with the young man. But there was something that, I read this book here. I told you all about it. As a matter of fact, he was a guest on the show. The Good Guy, My Story. Mr. Gene Marcelin. And I finally finished reading his book. And his book is 2-part. I'm going to help you, brothers. I'm still on track. And when I was reading it about his experiences, that what he was going through, I'm like, oh my God, I know his pain. And here it is, he's a good guy looking for love. And the woman, and guess what? Let me help you now. The woman that he was interested in and finally married, she was professing Christ. A sister in the church. That married this brother, but yes, you telling him to find God, but yes, you treating him like the devil. So I'm looking at this, and I don't want to tell his whole story, but I would advise get the book. It's on Amazon. Get the book, brothers, because what I want to get to is that the last, at the end of the book, the lady that he finally started having relationships with demanded one thing from him and herself. And that was to be truthful and upfront with whatever issues you have or whatever is going on in your life, no matter what it is. And he attempted because, and he says in the book, because he was afraid that he was going to lose it because he was so interested in her, he hid some things. Or he hid one particular thing, but she was able to find out. And when she found out, she checked him on it and then stopped talking to him for a while. So you got to be straight up. You have to be honest. If you're broken, say you are broken. Ladies, if you're broken, say you are broken. Even though we're talking about men tonight, but let's talk to both, because this is where we're coming at. Listen, let me help y'all here. My wife had issues too. Yes, she did. Okay, I got another caller here. All right. Then let me get this caller, then we'll come back. I'll finish that thought. Go ahead, caller.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Oh, I had to call in because texting is not going to get it. But thank you for doing this platform. I'm able to actually share it with a lot of people that I think, need to see it. But the reason why I ask, what do you do, is because I'm a therapist and I work with men often. Some are substance abuse users. Some I work in with marriage and family and things like that. And what I'm seeing is that we can get to a certain point with men, but I always tell them, you need to have another man to speak with. I've gone so much as to even call you in, a year or so back, you came in and talked to a men's group for me. And they absolutely loved you. But they still went back and did the same things that they were shown and told not to do. So that's why I say, what do you do when you hear a man crying out and saying, I wanted my dad, but he wasn't there? What do you do when the woman is beating the man down? Beating him down. And I'm sitting there as the therapist saying, if you just shut up and hear what this man is saying, you're going to lose your marriage. And they're saying, well, I know what a man is supposed to be. And I'm like, how? And you've never been a man. As a therapist, I'm sitting in some of these sessions and I'm just like, God, you can't tell the people to break up because that's not my job. But some of these people should have never gotten married in the first place. Or they should have had these conversations about a lot of things before they got in it. They got in it broken, and then they wanted either the woman to fix them or the woman wanted the man to fix them or have all these things. So that's why I'm just saying, what do you do when they continue to just keep rebelling? What do you do?
You can't do
what
anything.
What do you do when you...
You can't do anything. You can't. I'm absolutely asking. Only thing that I, as a man, see, this is going. Thank you, Lord. This is going back to what I said.
I'm gonna hang up.
Yeah. Go ahead. Thank you, caller. Appreciate that. See, let me help y'all, because I had an experience in one of my marriages that taught me what I'm about to say to you. But before I go to that, I want to say this: what do you do? And I've said you can't help them. I said earlier, a man has to want to change his situation. But he can be so beat down that here it is, the life raft done pulled up, the rowboat done pulled up, the life float, the life jacket, the ship and everything done come across his path. But all he's wallowing in his emotional state, his funk. And he's like, man, I want to get out. Then dang on it, open your eyes, bro. I'm telling you what you need to do. But they look at it as being hard because they're not willing to. Okay. I was in one relationship, my last marriage prior to this one. I'm going to see how I can say this here. And this is the lesson that I had to learn. This woman was ripping me left and right, talking to me in ways that I, as a man, wouldn't have never accepted. But God told me, and this is what I had to do. God was my source at the time, but I know every man out there don't have God in their life. But I tell you, that's first of all, that may be your first sign of brokenness if you don't have God in your life. You need God. You need God. But let me say this, and we're going to get out of here because I think we don't be here long enough. What I had to learn to do in that situation, because I told God, Lord, help me to be the man of God you want me to be, the husband that you're pleased with, and the father that you're pleased with, in spite of what she did, in spite of what she said. And I'm telling you, this lady was putting it on me. I know what that brokenness is. I know what that type of pain is to be a man. You're doing all that you can to keep your family together, to love your wife, to love your children, to keep your home, to be the man of your home. But then yesterday you have a woman who is showing no respect for you, disrespecting you. Could I went upside her head? Yep, sure could have. Thumped her like she was nothing, stepped on her like she was a gnat. But what would that have caused? What would that have brought me? I'd have lost everything. Lost everything. So in the midst of that, you know what I learned to do, fellas? Shut up. Stop trying to defend my manhood. Because what she said to me, if it didn't speak life to me, I didn't accept it. And then I continued on to be a man. Just like the one brother that said that they love the woman, but she's treating me like a kid. Then I tell you, then you know what? Stop letting her treat you like a kid. And let me tell you something. Let me help you out. I'm coming to you, caller. Oh, call back, caller. Call back. Call back, please. Don't run away. Don't run away. Bro, you got to check yourself. Stop taking, if you know a woman is dishing you and disrespecting you, stop taking it. And you don't have to leave. Because there's a lesson that you need to learn that's in the midst of that. Hold on a minute, caller. There's a lesson that you need to learn in the midst of that. And all it's going to do, listen, I'm going to say, I hope I'm making some sense here. Because this is what it taught me. She could have said whatever she wanted to say, got to the place she could say whatever she wanted to say. I don't care. Because I know who I am. And if you're a man who is confident about who he is, you can care less what a woman say about you or to you. I know that's for me. Now, I got some men out there, they may not can't say that. But I'm not, that's what you do. That's the first thing you do. You ain't got to respond to her negativeness. You ain't got to respond to the fact that you want her to cook, she don't want to cook. You don't have to respond to the fact that she doesn't want to have sex with you. They learn how to be celibate at that time. The test is real. But if I was able to overcome it, because I learned how not to respond to those things. It is, I'm getting ready to go minister and I'm getting cussed out. I could go even deeper, but I won't. I'm just trying to give you an idea. So, first of all, man up. Check your emotions. I know this sounds crazy, but this is what you got to do. Check your emotions. Stop responding to the negativity of what you're doing. You keep on loving them. You keep on doing what you know you're supposed to do as a man and as a husband. But you do not allow that woman to dictate what you're going to do or how you're going to respond. Because one thing about it, I said this before on the show, brothers, you will not out-talk that woman. You won't do it. Okay, caller. You there, caller?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. You know, I'm listening to all this, and everything sounds great and wonderful, and everything you're saying is true. But I think a lot of people still missing the main issue, and that is that when when a man meet a woman, what he wants from that woman is one thing first is love, and after that love, God will begin to fix him. Most women try to fix a man within that relationship. It don't work that way. Allow God to do the fixing. Then on top of it, most young men, and this is what I see all my life. Most young men yearn for their father affection, and a lot of people do not understand that. The affections it means a lot to a young man because it helps build a foundation on how he's gonna love the future. Otherwise, you're gonna walk around broken. Then on top of it, we have to look at all the other issues, the mom, how the mom was angry with the father, and sometimes she mistreat that son, and he grew up with that bitterness in his heart, so he treat everybody the same way he wanted to treat his own mother. But nobody don't answer for that part because we don't want to speak about it because it's supposed to be non-spoken. But until we begin to speak about these things and begin to heal from these things, we will have generations growing up with the same issues, the same problem, the same. It's just sad to say. We have to wake up as men. Those that did wake up and begin to pour into somebody else that have their cup open. But we've been trying to help somebody that don't want to be helped. So I'm learning now. If you don't need my help, guess what? I'm going to the next young man that need my help. And I'm going to pour into their cup, praying that they get it, and they pray and they open it to somebody else. That's all I have to say.
Great call, caller. Great call. Great call. You can't help every man because every man don't want to be helped. They like being where they're at, but yet still, though, they want to just cry on your shoulder. You can't cry on my shoulder if you ain't gonna try to get it together. Let me get to this. Let me see here. I want to get to Mr. Christopher Rice because I like what he is saying. Let me see here. But I'm gonna have to disagree with that caller slightly. Okay. Mr. Rice says, I need a father figure, someone who can help me and not talk down on me. That's I am crying out tonight. I need it. I never knew my dad. I was told I don't need to know him. Somebody lied to you, young man. And I know sometimes I do things so wrong, but I am trying to learn. But I am always being judged of my past. I need a real father figure in my life. I am crying out. Amen. Wow. Wow. Y'all hear that, audience? Yes, I was just that very bitter because my mom taught me that would curse me out when I asked who was my dad. That's going back to what the caller said. He said, a son needs affection from his father. That's true. That's all I wanted from my father. Even though he used the word affection, all I wanted to hear my father say, I love you. Which, when you think about it, it's the same thing. Because up until then, my father and we always had a relationship. I remember plenty of times, my father and I spending time together. Then something transpired in our lives that affected all of us. And that time that we spent together was no longer. So here it is, I'm longing for it, but I wasn't getting it. So what we do, I'm acting out. And in a way, because of it, not knowing how, that's another thing, to express myself to my father. But when I do express myself, I'm expressing it through anger. So it just multiplied and built and built and built. And then that rejection turned into hate. Then it went from hate to murder. That's what was happening. But I thank God for prayers. I thank God for reconciliation. Because, man, I would. So I understand what this brother is saying, and exactly what we've been saying. It is his own mother. Shame on you, ladies, who have children, and you're punishing your sons as far as their father's concerned because you don't get along with their father. You dislike their father. Shame on you. Let that child, even daughters, let's not leave them out. They need to know who their father is. Let them stop talking about and talking down to their father because you're building up resentment in them. And then you wonder why you have no control over them. You wonder why they're not listening to you. Let them judge that man for themselves. Let them decide whether or not he's a good father or he's a bad father. That's not your responsibility. That's not your place. What if the roles was reversed? Would you want that father to deny you of your child? Would you want that father to deny and say negative things about you that are not true and all you care, even though you don't want to have anything else to do with the father, but that's your child that you want to love on? I don't know if it's correct to say this here, but I believe a piece of father is better than no father at all. And see, here it is, you judging or you denying your child of his father or her father because in your eyesight, he's broken. But all he wants to do, even if let me tell you, I learned this here and I tell brothers this here all the time. A child don't care whether or not, your child don't care whether or not you have $1 in your pocket or $100 in your pocket or $1,000 in your pocket. The most valuable thing that a father can give his child is time. Time. Mr. Christopher, how about call in? Give me a call in. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Because I want you to know, bro, I don't have a problem being a father figure to you, man. It ain't about age. I do not have a problem being a father figure to you. Lord, I thank you. You got my house turned up. We about to be lit next. Call in. There's a number, 954-559-9300. Mr. Christopher, I want to talk to you, man. Be brave. Be brave, bro. Be brave. Because we're gonna nip to see what done happened. That's an open door. That's an open door in his life that has to be closed. Let me see. My father told me I wasn't his and he wanted nothing to do with my mother and anything that came from her. I am 99.99% certain I am his, but man, God is good. He's a restorer. Now, I know your relationship, but I don't think that it took the husband, it took the man in whom you married in order to get you through that. No question about it. Now, if you feel I'm wrong, now you just drop it on me. Let me see. I'm with you. He needs a figure. I'm here for you and him. We got to kill that devil. He needs positivity in his life. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank God for this conversation. Man, listen. Our men are not broken. They are misunderstood. And the reason they're misunderstood because number one, we've gotten away from God, we've gotten away from the Bible, or doing it the way the Bible says and instructed for us to do it. And because of sin, that's why we have what we have going on.
That's why we
Hello?
have what we have.
Caller, you there? You got to turn your music down. Turn your volume down, please.
Okay. Yes, sir. I'm here. Okay. Okay, I'm here.
Turn down your volume. Turn down your volume, please.
Okay, let me turn this volume down. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, man?
Yeah, this is me. I am Deacon Christopher Rice. And I'm 58 years old, and out of all my life, I asked my mom, even on her deathbed before she passed, I asked her, Mom, the biggest gift you could give to me is to allow me to know who my father is. And when I asked this question, she would curse me out, put me out, and tell me don't come back to her house. So I would have to leave. Been through a lot coming up as a child, rejection. The only thing I knew how to do was things that women do because I never had a father figure in my life. And I'm getting emotional here a little, but
it's okay. Hey, let me stop you. Let me stop you there, bro. It's okay to be emotional, man.
Okay.
That's the purpose of this platform. It's okay if you want to cry, man. It's okay. And it's okay. And this is the problem with, I don't mean to cut you off, just hold your thought though. We got to teach our young men, we got to teach men how to connect with their emotion. Mm-hmm. We've been bought with this lie, oh, you got to be strong, you got to be this. Let me tell you, I cry. And it don't mean I'm weak, I'm still a strong man. So, bro, hey, just be real with yourself, man. Just be real with yourself. Go ahead on.
And, I and like I said, all I knew, was to do. All I knew, I never did anything that a man really did, so I didn't know. I always wanted to desire to do it, but I was never taught. Because I was only around my mom, and I left Georgia and I moved here to Miami. I joined a church, my apostle, she passed and she helped me as much as she could. And she told me, she said, I'm going to have to, recommend you to, to go to another church to up under a man so they could teach you how to be a man. But I never had that opportunity, in my life. And I never will forget, I gave my testimony of how God delivered me from homosexuality. And because I gave my testimony, people, and these are church people, they used it against me. I was church hurt, church broken, stayed out of church for years because I just felt like that there was no love. I had a mind of suicide. Every night I was trying to plan out how I was just going to get rid of myself. And I never will forget a lady that I don't even know. Even today, I don't even know her. But she came to me and she gave me a hug and she said, you know what? That what you're planning on doing, don't you do it. And I messed around and I did it anyway. I remember I went and got some pills and I took the whole entire bottle because all I wanted was just to know who my dad was. And before my aunt passed, I used to ask her, I said, well, so can you help me? I'll do a DNA. I'll do whatever it is, whatever it takes to get it. Because I really want to know who he is because my mom just will not give me this information. And she took it to the grave because that's what she told me she would do. She said, I would take it to my grave. And that's exactly what she did. So I still don't know. But I always wanted and I always desired a father figure in my life. But the men, they look at me and I don't know where their mind runs, but then they always shut me down. So I never knew nothing to be around but women. And I'm so grateful tonight that Lady Nelson, Elaine Nelson, I am so grateful that she sent me to you tonight, because this is something I've been yearning for all 58 years of my life. No, I'm not, and it got so bad to where I was even abusing myself, because I said, God, why can't I have a voice like Barry White? Why? I get on the phone and they say, yes, ma'am. And I'm like, no, I'm not a ma'am. I'm a sir. And things, it just, and then it throws me back into the shell until I just want to just break down and just like, Lord, you know what, this is not working for me. Nobody want to be bothered with me because of what I came out of, and it just tears me apart. It just tears me apart, because this is all I've been longing for. I want to learn how to be a man. I want to, because one day I want to be married before I'm too old. So I want to learn. And then I remember I was dating a woman, and then I told her everything, because I said, I'd rather you hear it from me than to hear it from somebody else. And when I told her about my past, my God, that was always thrown up in my face every day, although we can't talk because of this, because of that. So then I just went back into the shell again. So this is why I am really crying out tonight, because I'm seeking help, because I need it. I'm seeking help.
Well, you came to the wrong place, bro. You're going to get the help you need. And I'm looking at a lot of the comments. There are people on here that definitely are supporting you, that are praying for you. But you said something there that was your struggle. And in my notes, I wrote this word down, that this is a sign of a broken man. I don't know if you can see it. Homosexuality. That's a sign of a broken man. But tonight, bro, because you were open, because you was candid and transparent, see, the devil can't hold that over you no more.
Amen.
Because you exposed it, you revealed it. And one of the things I always strive for, that this platform be a safe platform where men can be transparent, can be open. And I can tell you right now, there is not one negative comment that not come across my feed, because I would definitely, whether on YouTube or anything else, I would definitely delete it. And I would definitely respond to it, because we're not going to tolerate that.
Amen.
Bro, our prayers, I got your number. We're going to talk. I see some of the guests, they're reaching out. They want to help. So you're in the right place, man. And I appreciate your call, man. I appreciate your call. Okay.
Amen.
I appreciate your call. God bless you, man.
Bless you.
You heard what he said? 58 years. 58 years. All he ever wanted to do was just to know who his father was. That's all he ever wanted to do. That in itself ought to show the importance of a father figure. That in itself ought to show. We're going to help him. We are going to help him, because he needs the help. There's no condemnation here. It won't be allowed. I did a video that we got to learn. We need to learn how to support our men that are broken. We have to learn how to, if a man got a struggle, we got to learn how to help them and love them through their struggles. Wow. I got to go pray now, y'all. I got to go pray now. Be strong, my brother. Hey, listen, I'm gonna ask the audience to do this. Those of you that are still on. How about send some love to Brother Christopher Sway, directly to him. Send him some love, because he needs it. And who I really need, brothers, I need the men on here to cover him with love. I need the men on here to do that. But I want to go back to the previous caller. Caller said that a man is looking for love from a woman. But I want to remind that caller, we did a survey. And it's two things that a man needs, ladies. It's two things that a man needs. That's respect, affirmation. Because when you think about it, God told man to love the wife. Husband, love your wife. And he told the woman to be subject to her husband. Love the wife like Christ loved the church. The wife, be subject to your husband means respect him, honor him, give him praise, affirmation. That's how my wife wins my heart. That's how I know she loves me, through her affirmation. That's how I know she loves me, through her love. Through her respect for me. That's how. She doesn't tear me down. Man. And I would give my life for my wife because of the respect, because of the affirmation. Do you not know that even with a father's note, it exists because of her encouraging me? It exists today because of her support, her critiquing, constructive criticism. So she took a broken man, a man that was broken. And I was a man, and she said this, she said, all you ever needed was for somebody to believe in you, somebody to help you. And that's who I am, right? I am your helpmeet. And as long as you had vision, and as long as you love God, I'm going to be there for you. And she has been. It's been 17 beautiful years versus my previous marriages would last only 5 years. And that was a whole nother story. We love you, Chris. We love you. And when we get off, we're going to get off here now. We're going to get off here now. We're going to reach out to you. Hey, listen, I want to thank all of you for your comments and everything. Let me put this comment up. Christopher Rice, I love you. And I will be interceding on your behalf that it will turn around in your life immediately, because the God we serve is a healer and a deliverer. And we will be standing in the gap until your change, and it will come. Amen. Amen. Hey, we got to go. Man, we hope you loved it. We enjoyed the show tonight. I did. I appreciate all of you. You know, it wouldn't even be what it is right now today if it wasn't for all the viewers and everybody. And but I got someone coming on next week, a young lady coming on. We're gonna talk about it more. I don't even know if it's if we need to go any further into this here. Man. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate all of y'all. Love all of y'all. and we appreciate you so much. But time has come. Thank you for being a part of the show tonight. We will be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. And we're going to have a guest on. I'm going to have my wife to join me. Don't worry, y'all. I won't be solo. I'm thinking about something she did anyway. Hey, listen, appreciate y'all. Okay? See you next week. God bless.
Lionel Nelson here, and welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%.